All right, well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on what part of the world you're in. Welcome to this year's 5 Hours of Power 8. It's amazing we've done these 8 years in a row now. This, along with the Big Mega Roundup, is one of the most fun things that we do every year. Really, always have a lot of fun with that. So, glad that we're all here to participate once again and see what the new challenge is. It's always fun to take a ride on Manic to get started as we wait for a few more people to trickle in. Manic, really one of the best coasters ever made, period, hands down. And you know what? I don't think Code is actually even here. He's busy on vacation right now, but somewhere he's grumbling about the fact that we're celebrating Manic. And that's the whole point. So welcome everybody. Glad that you were all here again to participate. This year's challenge is a little different. Every one has been unique. This one is definitely unique. A lot of different kinds of rules this year. Plus, we have some special guest judges from the industry that are going to be helping us out to review and supply prizes. It's been tough keeping it a secret because if we told you who they were ahead of time, you'd know a lot more about the competition. And as always with 5 Hours of Power, we want to make sure to keep the playing field as level as possible and not give any clue as to what the challenge is until now. So, now, yes, and I see a few people are already kind of noticing in the background that there is something different in the background as we took a ride around on Manic. A little harder to spot, so let's investigate and see what we can see as we fly away from it. Get out there. No, get away from that. I gotta get further away from it to get out of walkthrough. There we go. Okay. So everything looks kind of normal here. Seen all the past winners, and this is also really cool that every year we've been adding coasters to this park, and it's just been growing like crazy in all directions. And what's that? Can we figure out what that is? Well, hello there, old friend. So who would be crazy enough to rebuild Son of Beast? Well, I was. Not really, actually. Some props go to jcoaster26, who made the recreation that I downloaded. This is Son of Beast, amazingly massive coaster that was ahead of its time, quite rough. It really couldn't withstand the speeds. It no longer exists, but a few people are guessing that yes, the challenge this year is to RMC the Son of Beast. What would this ride look like if RMC did its magic touch and had this much height and speed and wood material to work with? Something quite remarkable would come out of it, I'm sure. And that is your job. And that explains who our special guest judges are going to be this year. We actually have representatives from RMC who are going to be helping to judge the contest. So they know firsthand exactly what it means to RMC something and to apply their special magic and design ideas to a coaster. They're going to be judging the ride, and they are supplying physical prizes that they have manufactured in the shop. So the top 5 winners are going to get an actual prize, which is really, really, really cool. It's really cool of them to offer that. And when we do the live broadcast giving the results of the contest, they will be there to explain how everything went, explain their thoughts, and give feedback. So, and that in itself is kind of a prize when you think about it. The fact that you're going to have a chance to have your design evaluated by RMC themselves. So that is really, really cool. We're super happy that they're on board for this. So let's get into the details about what we're going to have you do. First of all, let me open up the park that you guys will actually be working in. Because, oops, not that. That is a streamlined version of the park as always. So that way it's going to work a lot easier than having all of those other rides in the background with a couple of additional exceptions of what's inside the park to help you guys out. So let me bring those up right now. So here we have the coaster layout. There's a couple things I want to point out. As we get into the coaster, you're going to see that we have Son of Beast is there. It is in wireframe, and it is I made it a green color. You can make it whatever color you want. And then underneath that, there is a separate pink wireframe that is the outline of the base of the ride. So as you're working you don't need to, they're going to be in here. We have the terrain map, which is the pink one, Son of Beast, which is the green one. You can hide either of those quite easily. You can go to the terrain map if you wanted to get rid of that and say hide wireframe, and then it's going to go away when you choose a different coaster, like that. You see it's not there anymore, and then I'm going to hide the wireframe of Son of Beast, and then I'm going to go to the boundaries here, and you can see that they're all gone. I left them in there, though. You probably want to use them because the idea when you RMC a coaster is that you're trying to use as much of the original design idea as possible. So that's why they are there. They're there to help you out, to give you a reference for, in this case, where did the coaster go? So you can follow the footprint from overhead. Let's make sure we're still there. So in this case, you can see from overhead, this is exactly how the coaster layout goes, including I have supports lined up for the loop, so you can kind of see where those supports went. This just gives you the overhead profile so that you can follow that as you're building your own coaster. And then when you need to, you can look at the original Son of Beast as well. And that way you're going to be able to see what's going on. So that way you can have it, say you have a reference for how high it is, exactly what it was doing throughout the layout. There is another coaster in here. It says contest entry. That should be the one you work on, okay? Work on your contest entry. While the idea is going to be to RMC the Son of Beast, you don't actually need to destroy the original. In fact, we'd like it there as a reference to see, to just kind of see how well you were following the intent and the idea, the spirit of the original Son of Beast. So it has been imported exactly as it was recreated from J Coasters here, including the terrain is the exact height that was there in there, which is a good replica for the height of the original ride. So you have those tools to help you with your shaping. The goal here is to, again, we're going to apply the RMC's idea to this. Now, you can make it a launched lift if you want. You can make it a traditional lift hill if you want. I do want at least 3 trains running in there. You can do more. You can do as many inversions as you want, or no inversions. But again, you're doing 2 things. 1, make this feel like an RMC design ride. 2, make it still feel like the spirit of Son of Beast lives in your final design, whatever that happens to be. There's not a lot of rules in terms of and other things there. You can go underground with a tunnel if you like. That you don't have to. You see there is a yellow border around the ride. Stay inside the yellow border. When you're all done, your ride should stay. Everybody your ride, when frozen, should be in there. You don't have to worry about any scenery. I have cleared all the scenery out of that area. And other coasters that are in the neighborhood and other scenery, like some of the rides that are part of the full park that are over in this area, they are not inside the yellow space. So you don't have to worry about crashing into any scenery as long as you're inside of this yellow area, which gives you plenty of room inside of Son of Beast's original footprint to work. That's going to be it. Let me go over some of the other rules that I have in place. All of the rules, by the way, that you need when you go to the park properties, you'll see in park settings, they're all right here, including right there is the link to upload your file when you're done. So that's the form to fill out. Make sure that you have someplace that you're going to upload. If you upload to Google Drive, make sure that it is public so that anybody with the link can download your ride and we don't run into a permissions issue. If you upload to Steam Workshop or you upload to No Limit Central, anywhere else, it's fine. Just make sure the link works and fill that out in time. So there's the link. That's what you're going to need. Also very important, please change the name of your contest file. It's already showing as 5hop8-coaster-your name. Please change coaster to the name of the coaster, and please change your name to your actual name. That really helps me out because otherwise I have to download 30 or 40 coasters at the end and manually make all those changes to sort all of the entries and make it easy to go through the judging. So helps us out if you can handle that little bit of data entry for us. So any of the specific rules here, 1 RMC style coaster following the general footprint of Son of Beast. You can use either hybrid or launched, whatever you like. You can use as many lifts or launches as you want, whatever makes sense. But again, you're trying to follow the spirit of Son of Beast, whatever that happens to mean to you. Don't change or modify or move the Son of Beast recreation, the base outline, or change any of the terrain in that area. We have a separate coaster built for you to work with, as I pointed out. So on the coaster tab, we have contest entry. That's the one you should work on. It's already set for one of the RMC styles, okay? Use that. You can make as many cars on the train as you like. There's no limit there. We do not have a capacity requirement this year other than at least 3 trains. You can go with more if you'd like, but at least 3 trains. We need to have enough storage for all of the trains that you're going to have in place, so make sure that there's storage bays for all of that somehow. Adequate clearance at all times has to be followed, of course. Yes, you can use the auto support generator, and yes, you should use the auto support generator. It is very well built. In fact, we built that support generator with input from RMC to figure out the kind of the general theory of their structure. So you go ahead and use that. Now you will want to add and embellish to that to make sure that the crossovers look as good as possible, to make sure that you have the right width in place of the support structure to make sense for whatever you happen to be doing. It will take a little bit of care, but yes, use the auto support structure. It is absolutely okay to do. If you decide to do a loop like that or any kind of other inversion, yes, you can make your own steel structure to hold that up, just like the real Son of Beast used a steel spine for the loop, or just like some of the other RMC coasters like to use a steel lattice structure for some of those Top Gun stalls. You can do that too. Below ground tunnels are allowed. Keep in mind the original ride did not have any, but if you want to do one, sure, go for it. It's got to stay inside the yellow area, of course. The support structure needs to look like it is sufficient to handle the speed and direction of the forces throughout the ride, including when you get to higher speeds, you probably need to make it denser. So take a look at all those settings when you're going through the wooden support generator options, breaking it up by segments so that you can add more or less or wide supports as you go through that. Adequate clearance has to be maintained throughout. We are going to make sure that there is a clearance envelope on your coaster somewhere, and we're going to check for any clearance incursions that are blatant and obvious. As always, no custom or prepackaged scripts used on your coaster. Keep it simple. We're not going to evaluate scripts. Just go with the coaster as it is. People always ask, hey, can I add theming? Can I add scenery? A, you don't have time. B, sure. C, we're not going to evaluate it. We're going to hide all the scenery and just judge your coaster. So there's no real point to doing that anyway. People always ask also, can I use FVD++? I like using that instead. At the end of the day, we can't tell what you used if you use the FVD that's built into the system or if you're using the FVD outside of the system. We have no way of knowing. We're going to see that it obviously was an FVD created coaster. If that works for you and that's a faster way to do it, go for it. You know, we don't want to exclude anybody for that. The intent of the contest is usually to try and get some people to use the hand-built tools. But if that works for you and you can get it done in that time frame, go for that too. That works. As long as you can get the coaster done in 5 hours and upload it in time. 1 entry per person. If you send in additional forms, we're only going to take the latest entry that is there. You can, if you go, oh no, I need to fix something, you can go ahead and send in the form again, and we'll take the later entry with the new file. Very important also, make sure you test your coaster. We've had, unfortunately, some otherwise really, really good entries that did not complete the layout. They got to the end, they got to the transfer track where they stopped, it didn't have a tire on it, it was flat, and it sat there. And because it didn't complete the layout, we couldn't move it through to the final round. So make sure you get a chance to test your coaster, that it does work and everything moves through, so that it will work. Test your e-stops too, so make sure that the rides will stop at all the various places and it can recover from that accordingly. Otherwise, go nuts. Have fun. Be creative. If you want to make it a dueling coaster and you think you've got enough to kind of Twisted Colossus this thing, and there's certainly enough wood out there to do it, go for it. Go crazy. Do what you think RMC would do to this ride. Make it RMC style. Again, many inversions. Make it as much fun as you want. Completely up to you for what you think that is going to be, as long as it, again, 2 main criteria. It still gets the spirit of Son of Beast is still there, and it feels like and looks like an RMC style ride. We're going to be judging on 4 categories this year. Realism, which is the forces, track shaping, coaster operations, how well it's operating. Supports, making sure that it looks adequate and properly engineered for what you're trying to do. The density is there, the design works, and of course it has proper clearance. Fun, how well it's pacing. Does it lag? Does it move quickly? Does it have variety of elements? Does it flow well? Is it creative? And then finally, the last category is going to be RMC-ness, which doesn't really sound right, but it's how much of an RMC style you've accomplished and captured in there. How much does it look like an RMC ride? And of course, since we have RMC themselves judging, they know for sure what exactly an RMC style ride is. So try and come up with some original, unique things. Everybody loves RMC coasters. We've been looking at them for a long period of time. We've been riding them forever. We've been recreating them forever and doing your own. I'm doing the roundups every week. There's always a couple of RMC coasters in there. So you guys know what you're doing. Have fun with it and do what you think it's going to be. So at this point, I'll start taking some questions from the audience. If anybody has any of those, please post them in the chat, and I will go ahead and get to as many of them as we have time for, and we'll go from there. So any questions, please post them in the chat, and we'll go there. I'm going to go back to see which things are going. Secondly, it said, so people are meant to be doing custom RMC support as well as converting the former world's tallest Woody in under 5 hours. You can make your own new coaster that follows the path of the old one. Don't try to convert the old one. We want it there as a reference. You don't have to do that. You can auto-generate your supports. You should auto-generate your supports. Our autogen going to have more weight than normal. Yeah, use the autogen. I fully expect whenever we've done a contest that involves a wooden coaster, we're not asking you to hand build every single beam, post, and ledger of that coaster. Use the auto supports. But as a question that went by earlier about prefab supports, if you just leave it at its default setting throughout the entire ride, it's not going to look right. You do have to take some time and care dividing your coaster into various design or theme sections, or style sections, that's correct, to have the support change density as you go through to change where the wide supports are going to be on the left or right side or both, depending on what makes sense, again, for what the coaster is doing, where the forces need to go, and a number of other factors. So if you just throw the same default vertical support or slightly angled support on a steel coaster and use that exact same one with the same thickness all the way through a coaster, it's not going to look right. But if you take the time to make a few setting tweaks here and there as you go, then it will look right. So we can tell if you put the care in there to really make sure that the end auto-generated supports do look correct for your coaster, and that's what we're looking to see. Can we make the station go the other way? If you like. If it's going to make it still feel like it's Son of Beast, then sure, yeah, go for it. You can see what you can do for that. Yeah, we're not going to say, no, it has to go exactly in this direction, because we know that RMC, well, they've tended to run the stations in the same way that they originally were built to make use of the original infrastructure. They have at times changed the layout a little bit. I'm remembering the Joker up at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom that did not follow the exact same path as Roar. It had jumped over in a few spots too. So we've seen them do that in other designs where they've RMC'd something and they haven't followed the path exactly. So, your call. Go for it. See if that works for you. Let's see, what are the other questions? Lots of people stressing out, which is good, which is always the fun of it. So let's see here. For dispatch, we use the default timer. Make adjustments. It's with 3 trains on Son of Beast, there was a lot of time inside of dispatches. Tweak it a little bit just so that you don't have trains stacking up. You don't want to have trains that stop at the top of the lift hill waiting for the train ahead to clear. And if you have enough time to set it up correctly, then it's good to not have the incoming train stop behind the station for a long period of time. Maybe a couple seconds, but ideally it just rolls right through there. So see what you can do. But with this big of a coaster, there's plenty of time to work on that. Let's see here. I won't provide an FBD++ time. I'm not going to do that. Can you copy sections from the original ride? I'm not sure why you'd want to take the original coaster track and do that. If that helps you, go for it. But I would recommend instead just kind of using it as a guide to follow along. Because I imagine you're not going to use the exact same height profile. You should follow roughly the same path, if that makes sense. But you're certainly not going to stay the same height. So I would expect you're going to make an all original coaster that still follows the original layout. So that way it looks like it's part of there. Can I make a lift structure popcorn rat? Yes, you can. Will points be deducted for adding completely original sections that don't use any of the old supports? Yeah, that's the whole intent, coaster guy. Completely original coaster that does not use any of the old supports. You're going to make a brand new coaster that doesn't use any of the old supports at all. We're not going to try and have you convert all of the original support structure and chop your way through it. That's just going to take too much time. So brand new coaster, do not edit the Son of Beast that's provided here. We've made a separate one called contest entry. Make that one and just use it as a guide. For everybody's reference, when I did my recreation of Twisted Colossus that came with no limits, came out when we added the RMC styles and the hybrid styles, I had my original Colossus recreation, and then I followed it with the RMC style and kept it there as a reference until I was ready to remove it. And I did keep a few supports from the original one, but otherwise, that's how I built it. So that's what I expect everybody to do here. Can you add new structure like Iron Gwazi? Yes. Can you, and for the people who haven't asked it yet, can you go higher if you like? Sure. It's already a really tall coaster. I mean, 220 feet is a lot, but if you feel you want to go bigger, go for it. Have fun. Are you allowed to eat, or do you work the whole time? It's up to you. Can you multitask? I forbid eating. It's up to you. If you need to take a snack, take a break, please do. You know, we don't need anybody falling over, fainting on that. Grab a snack, have it with you. Grab some water, have it with you. If you need to run to the restroom, do what you got to do. We know it's an intense 5-hour contest. We don't expect people to be chained to the computer for the whole thing. This is meant to be fun. It's not meant to be torture. Any additional questions? Where can you download this package? Good question. Take a look on, I'm going to get the link posted on No Limit Central, as well as on Facebook. The link will go live at the contest start time. Those will be the links that you'll need to download the package. It is ready to go. It is uploaded, and again, we're going to make sure that it's a fair start for everybody, so no one will be able to start downloading it until then. And a reminder, it is a package file, although the only thing in it is the park file and a preview thumbnail. You need to unpack the coaster to be able to use it. So that means you do have to go here, and you're going to have to hit extract package, and then you can start editing it. We actually have that question come up every year. People say, I can't change it, and they forgot to extract the package. All right. Is it able to make another fake coaster for the loop spines? Yes, yes, you can. If you need to bring in another coaster just for the purposes of making decorative support structures for the loop spines or some other purpose, yes, go ahead and do that. Am I leaving the stream on with something, or can we stop watching? I will be turning the stream off when the contest starts, so we won't run this one forever. If you are streaming your effort and live streaming, please post it in the chat or post it into Discord somewhere. Would love to be able to see what you guys are doing and share that on social media. So show us what you're doing. Do we need storage for the three trains? Yes, yes, you do. That's part of the realism, is that any coaster out there is going to have enough storage to hold all of the trains off the track. We're allowed to ask any additional questions after the stream. Absolutely not. No questions ever. Yeah, of course you can. I'm going to be available in various sources. I'll be paying attention to the Discord on No Limit Central. There's an email address at the bottom of the park description. That's our contest email. I will be looking at that and answering questions as they come up. Do you need the loop? No. If you get knocked out from removing the loop, you can take the loop out if you want or do something different in its place. The only thing I would say there is how much will your new ride feel like Son of Beast? Yes, the loop was removed in the end, but one of the big features of Son of Beast, along with being the world's tallest wooden coaster and fastest, and the only wooden hyper coaster that was ever built, was that it had a vertical loop in it. So something to think about as you decide what is going to feel like Son of Beast. If you can make something convincing that does not have that loop in it, sure, go for it. But we're not going to be able to answer that question ahead of time, and we don't want to set a strict regulation. We want you guys to think about it, be creative, and interpret that, and come up with your interpretation of what you think the RMC Son of Beast is. That, again, two main criteria you're trying to do here. One, make it still have the heart and soul of Son of Beast somehow. And two, make it an RMC coaster. All right, just a few minutes left until we get started. I'll go ahead and get out of here, and I'm going to go back to the main park here. So while we're loading that up to go take a ride on the original Son of Beast for inspiration, do we have any more questions to go? Speak now or forever hold your peace until it's time with additional questions. Again, the last questions, post them in the chats. Got here late. What does the pink mean? Okay, good question. Just to remind everybody, there are two helpful things in the park that you don't need to pay attention to, but they're there to be a guide. The pink is following the base of the coaster, so that if you hide the green version of the coaster entirely. The pink is still there as a vertical guide from overhead to show you what path the original coaster followed. The green is the original coaster. So depending on what you need to do to work on it, that can help you figure out what is going on. After Alex, the heart and soul of Son of Beast would be an RMC that beats you to death. Yeah, I know what you're saying. The heart and soul of Son of Beast is the massiveness of the original ride. But once you RMC it, it's going to become smooth and fun. Plus, I think when Son of Beast was very, very brand new, it wasn't that bad. Like any wooden coaster, though, of course, it does get rougher with age. So we are ready to go here. But I'm really looking forward to see what you guys come up with. This, again, a very different kind of challenge than we've had before. Super happy to have RMC themselves on board to help judge the ride. Can we re-import the Beast recreation to start, or do we have to start with the contest entry coaster? I don't know why you would get a Beast recreation, because that's not what we're trying to convert right now. I would work on, again, there's already a coaster in the file that's called contest entry. That is the one that I've started for you guys to then be your entry, okay? You don't need to, and please do not edit the Son of Beast recreation that's in there or the base plate. Those are there as visual references. You can hide them, but do not edit or delete them or get rid of them. Do not change the terrain. It needs to stay in place exactly how it is. They're, again, meant to be visual guides to remind you what the original ride did so that you can work on making your own amazing Son of Beast recreation somehow, whatever that's going to be in RMC form. Okay, got just a couple of questions left. Any additional questions here? As we're getting ready for the big drop. Like I said, this was a lot of work to import this coaster, mostly to make sure that I could match the terrain exactly how the original one was and get this to line up exactly in its spot. So that way the supports look the same and you have the same amount of terrain height to work with and the same terrain contours to follow. But it's all here. Again, thank you to JCoaster26 who created the original recreation a few years ago that I was able to download and take a look at. Do want to give credit where credit is due. Make sure that this was not my recreation of the ride. Can we keep a clearance envelope on too? Yes, please do. That saves us a step. Does the scale, budget, scope have to be realistic, Joseph? No, you have infinite money to spend. Woohoo, going through the loop. We'll view all the results right after the deadline. That's up to you guys for sharing them. It does take me a while to process all of the included files, get them ready, and make sure that they are all set correctly, that they change all the file names so that they're uniform and easy to work with, and get them uploaded. So it does take me a little while. Might have them ready by tomorrow. But after the contest is done, feel free to share your work. Okay, it is just about done. Do the forces have to be realistic to RMC specifically, or just general realism? They do need to be. We know RMC does all kinds of crazy things, so yeah, go crazy. Again, be RMC here. You don't have to have it realistic for what a normal wooden coaster this size would be. Go for the full RMC craziness. But if you're going to be hanging upside down -4 Gs, we might have an issue. But yeah, whatever RMC is to you that still will be rideable and fun and won't kill people, go for it. All right. And with that, it is now 8 o'clock. The download links are live. Go, 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 go. Have fun, everybody. Enjoy, hydrate, have a snack along the way if you need it. Good luck. Looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with. And then once the contest is over and we have everything judged, then we will book the live stream with everybody to hear the thoughts directly from RMC of what they thought's going on. Good luck, everybody. Have a great time. Go for it.